Today, we are going to talk about the idea of project planning. So whenever it comes to creativity or art making, a lot of times we try to say that there shouldn't be deadlines because we don't want to rush the creative process. Or we have trouble actually meeting deadlines because we don't come up with a solid plan and really take into account how long it's going to take us to do something. So first I'm going to say that I'm a firm believer that there should be deadlines when it comes to creative projects. And one, because it actually plays a role as acting as one of the overarching constraints, and we come up with better creative ideas when we're working within a set of constraints. And two, otherwise, we can really get stuck in the resistance phase where we're kind of putting off the hard work and distracting ourselves from getting done what we actually need to get done. So we're distracting ourselves from getting started. So I think a deadline is super important, that you need to start and you need to get it done. That doesn't mean that you don't end up going back and reworking the project or doing another iteration of it, but it really needs to go from something that is an idea to a finished thing or a finished response by a certain period. So today what I want to go over with you is really talking about how do you plan this out so that you don't end up at the end of the week saying that you have something that needs to be finished and you're not even close to being there. So we're going to talk about backwards planning today. Okay. So the first question that you need to answer when you're really thinking about doing any kind of backwards planning is, what is your end goal? So what is this end thing that you're shooting for, and when is the deadline? So an example would be you need to finish a piece of artwork each week. So for one goal is to finish a piece of artwork in 7 days. So that would be your end goal that we're going to figure out how to backwards plan from. So once you know your end goal, you need to think about all of the steps that it takes to get to that end goal, which a lot of times we forget, and that's what makes it hard to actually plan the appropriate amount of time. So if your end goal is to finish a piece of artwork in 7 days, these are some of the things that you're going to address. You need to have an idea for your piece. So what are you actually making? You need to collect all of the needed materials. So do you have the right paper? Do you have the right pens, pencils? What are all the things that you need to make it become a completed piece? You might need to do some research. So depending on what problem you're trying to solve, you might need to look at some other examples, get new ideas. Maybe you need to refresh yourself on an old technique or learn a little bit more about a new technique. You're most likely going to need to sketch out some ideas. So playing around with the solutions that are in your head, getting them on paper and seeing which ones work and which ones don't. Then you need to actually create the final piece. And you need to photograph the piece. So those are all of our steps leading up to our finished project. So the next thing that you need to ask yourself is, what else is going on this week that's going to compete for your time? So this is where you really need to be also using a calendar and putting everything on to your calendar. Because if it is not on your calendar, then it's very likely that it gets bumped and kind of pushed out of the way. So if you're saying that you're going to finish a project by Sunday, on Sunday, you should have scheduled that you are going to have a piece completed and turned in. So that's a thing on your calendar. So some other things that maybe are competing for your time. So we're going to pretend that you have a 3-hour SAT test on Tuesday, that you have a 4-hour dance practice on Saturday, and that you're going to be 2 hours in the car traveling to and from your dance practice on Saturday. So these are things that are on your calendar that are really non-negotiable. They're there, they're staying, they are taking up some of your time. Okay. So now we're going to start to map out your schedule for the week. So I do my schedule for the week on normally Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. You should not just plan one day at a time. That's how you get in trouble. You should plan your whole week at once. So on Sunday, I will pull out my calendar and then I will pull out my book that I put my to-do list in. I will write out the 7 days of the week, and then I will start to pull from my calendar and plug specific things into each day on my to-do list as to when they're actually going to be finished, which I am going to show you an example. So as you map out your schedule, you need to mark down the things that you know have to happen. Okay, so you know that on Saturday you need to block out 6 hours for dance, which means that you really aren't going to get much else done that day because you still are going to have to eat. You're probably going to be tired after 4 hours of dance class, and if you run into traffic, all those things. So Saturday is probably not going to be a day that you're going to get much done. Tuesday, you know that you need to block out 3 hours for the SAT. And now we're going to talk about how you can fill in the rest to actually meet your end goal of creating a finished piece in the week. Okay, so this is an example of a schedule for me. So this is an example of a Monday. And it's not the same every week. So I do this every single week. There are some things that are always the same, but there are projects that are changing, appointments that are changing. So this is recreated every single week. So a couple things that I want you to note is I'm very specific. I'm putting in times. I'm not just saying I'm going to do these things. I'm putting in times because you need to start to understand how much time you're giving yourself to actually do something. And then these are going on my calendar, which means if somebody calls me and asks me if I can go out to lunch on Monday, no, I can't. There's not space for lunch on Monday. My weekly schedule is already created, so you're going to have to talk to me about next week so that I can build my schedule around that. So on Monday, I say I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to take out the dog from 5 to 5:15. Then I'm going to read and write from 5:15 to 7. Then I'm going to get ready for work from 7 to 7:35. I'm going to go to work from 8 to 2. Then from 2:30 to 3:30 is when I'm going to have lunch, take the dog out, and get a little bit of a break. Then I have a drawing call from 3:30 to 4:15. I'm going to work out from 4:15 to 4:30. I'm going to respond to email from 4:30 to 5 o'clock. I'm going to prep an art history call from 5 to 5:45. I'm going to create and post a new blog post from 5:45 to 6:15. Then from 6:15 to 7, I'm going to take the dog out and have dinner. And then between 7 and 9, I'm going to meet with a friend to work on homework. So a couple reasons that you need to be specific so that there are times in here. Otherwise, it's easy to say that you have space for something else when you don't really have space for something else, or it is easy to let things overflow. So one thing that you always have to deal with when working on a project, maybe you'll realize as you're creating your schedule for the week that you only have 8 hours free. Well, that means that that's one of your constraints, and you need to find a way to work on a project that you can finish in 8 hours. So that might mean that you change the size of the piece and you do a smaller piece. Maybe you know that you like drawing with pencil, but that you also like drawing with giant Sharpies. And so you're going to use a medium that is potentially larger and faster. Or maybe you're going to bring collage in because that tends to speed things up. So you need to be clear on how much time you actually have to create so that you can come up with a project that fits into that space. So the other thing that I do with these is I actually set a timer. So especially in this like email world, that can end up sucking up tons and tons of my time that it doesn't really need to. So I will go into my email, I set the timer, I know I have 30 minutes, which makes me really intentional about responding to the emails that actually need to be responded to and just quickly going through, responding, deleting, and moving on. And when that timer goes off, then I need to stop with email and I need to move on to the next task, or I'm not going to get through my schedule for the week. This does not mean that this is always perfect. I normally have Sunday is fairly open. So Sunday is a time, a little bit of a spillover time of things that, life happens and kind of bumped my schedule out a little bit. But there's a still pretty solid plan. So we're going to go back to what you say that you need to do and talk about how you might adjust this to start to fit your schedule. So you're telling us that you need to have an idea for your piece. So I would recommend that this is happening on Monday. Okay? So on Monday, you're going to look at your schedule, see what else you have going on, and where can you fit in time to work on brainstorming. So maybe you see you have a nice 45-minute chunk. So then you're going to put on your schedule on Monday, spend 45 minutes brainstorming ideas for my piece this week. At this point, is also where you can start to put your constraints in. Because once you have your weekly schedule finished, you should be able to see how much time you're actually going to have. Then next, you need to collect all of your needed materials. So you're going to look, is Monday a really wide open free day for you? If yes, then you might want to add that it's going to take you 30 minutes to collect your materials and allow time and space for that. If you know you have a lot of stuff in your house that you normally don't really need to go shopping, maybe you only need 10 minutes for that. If you know that you're probably going to need to go to the art store, you might need to give yourself an hour. Putting in time for research and limiting this time. Research is a great thing, but research is also a thing that can go on and on and on. So there needs to be a timer. So that's looking at your schedule. So maybe on Tuesday, you're going to spend 45 minutes doing research. Then maybe you still see you have more time on Tuesday. So you're going to spend an hour sketching ideas on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, you're going to spend 3 hours working on your final piece. You see your schedule's packed on Thursday. Maybe there's a lot more going on there. On Friday, you're going to spend 2 hours continuing to work on your piece. Saturday, you don't really have any time. Sunday, you're going to spend an hour putting finishing touches and 15 minutes photographing, okay? Obviously, you can tweak this, but my main thing that I want you to understand and then start practicing is it has to be scheduled, or you're always going to be ending up at the end of the week and realizing that you miscalculated and feeling stuck and then falling behind. So yes, we would all probably love way more time to work on our projects, but that needs to be one of your constraints that you can fit it into your given schedule. So even if your schedule changes every week, that's fine. You're adapting each week. Just like my schedule is different every single week, that's fine. Sunday night, I sit down and I make the following week's schedule so that I can really see what I need to do and when I'm going to do it.